The Brevard City Council held its regular meeting on September 18th. Retiring after 24 years of service, Police Captain Steve Woodson was awarded his badge and sidearm by Police Chief Tom Jordan. Council then heard a briefing on the Acosta Trail from several of the project's partners. Friends of the Acosta Trail president, Mark Tooley, provided an overview of the trail's history from the rail line's original completion in 1895 to the rail banking statutes adopted during the Reagan administration to the recent grant awards for the construction of the new rail trail. Vicki Eastland, Land of Sky's Rural Planning Organization Director, who also serves as a liaison for the city to NCDOT, told council members that the $1 million FLAP grant for engineering and design has been secured. Wesley Jameson, a project development engineer with NCDOT, explained that the RAISE grant will require monthly and quarterly financial and progress reviews, and the NSFLTP grant will require biannual reporting as well as an annual budget review. NCDOT, which will administer the grants on behalf of the city, is currently working to finalize agreements with the federal agencies to put the grants into action. Chris Todd, Henderson County's Director of Business and Community Development, and Autumn Radcliffe, Henderson County's Planning Director, delivered background information on the Henderson County side of the trail and said the Henderson County Board is currently reviewing construction bids for the first 6 miles of the trail. Lonnie Watkins, the NCDOT project manager, offered a rough schedule with the trail's construction contract tentatively scheduled to be awarded in summer 2025. Christy Stout of Transportation Planning and Design detailed some of the engineering considerations for the trail, including crossings and safety, environmental impacts to the floodway, streams, and wetlands, rights-of-way, utilities, and other elements of the project. Sarah Van Leer, the project manager from the UNC School of Government's Development Finance Initiative, presented the findings from Phase 1 of DFI's Affordable Housing Feasibility Study, which was commissioned by the city to address the local housing crisis. A 2019 study found that nearly 800 low to median income Transylvania County residents who make 80% or less of the area median income, had housing needs. Since that time, the rise in housing costs has likely increased the number of cost-burdened households. Area home sales increased 50% and land sales increased 300%. 40% of homes sold were bought by individuals or entities with mailing addresses outside of the county. The last 4 years also saw a 30% increase in the price of existing homes for sale and a 64% increase in the price of new builds. The highest price rental units, over $1,000 a month, have more than doubled. Additionally, the local housing market has experienced a tripling of seasonal use properties since 2011, and vacancy rates have fallen below 1%. With such low vacancy rates, households with higher incomes occupy units affordable to lower-income households. All of these events have generated a large rental-to-income mismatch and increased pressure on the housing stock and market. Currently, half of the county's workforce are employed in industries with average wages of less than $40,000 a year. Approximately 1,200 people commute to Brevard from outside of Transylvania County, and 58% of those commuters have incomes of less than $40,000 a year. DFI has subsequently identified potential sites that would be suitable for affordable and workforce housing, determined the type and scale of housing development possible, and analyze the financial feasibility of those sites and developments. Once a site is selected for Phase 2 of this study, DFI will support the city in the pre-development process by soliciting private investment for housing development and negotiating the development agreement with the selected partner. Following the presentations, Council passed a voluntary contiguous annexation request for 345 Forest Hill Road. They also approved amendments to the Housing Trust Fund bylaws to include funding for programs, not just specific properties, and to allow ETJ residents to apply for funding received via grants or donations. Senior Planner Emily Brewer also provided an overview of city staff's intent to pursue the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development's Pathways to Removing Obstacles to Housing grant to extend sewer services into the Azalea Avenue, Rhododendron Drive neighborhood, and endow the Housing Trust Fund's affordable housing preservation programs. During closing remarks, Councilman Aaron Baker reflected on the citizen-led roots of the original Acosta Trail plans, and Councilwoman Geraldine Dinkins described such linear parks as a forward-looking form of infrastructure and connection. Ms. Dinkins also requested an update on the City Camper project and asked what efforts might be undertaken to enforce site maintenance. Councilman Maurice Jones lauded the Norton Stream Bank improvements at Silverstein Park and thanked the council candidates in attendance for coming to the meeting. Finally, Mayor Maureen Koploff reiterated the importance of collaboration and described how crucial partnerships are to carrying out large projects that affect real change in our area. Council's next meeting will be held on October 2nd, 2023.